Injured in an accident? You may be entitled to a bigger settlement, up to 3.5 times bigger. Your initial consultation is 100% free, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. No matter the accident, we are here to help. The advocates will fight for you because you deserve clarity, you deserve justice, you deserve guidance, you deserve an advocate. Contact us today.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show. Football Friday, as always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. And you guys, when you've been in an accident, it's one of the worst days of your life, man. As somebody who's been in a major car wreck, dude, it is terrifying. You're not thinking straight. You're getting thrown a bunch of documents your insurance company wants you to sign. No. Don't trust your insurance company. I'm begging you. Get to theadvocates.com where you get clear, risk-free advice. What does that mean? They're going to give you clear advice, straight to the point. Do you have a case? Do you not? Is your insurance company actually, doing what they're supposed to be doing? The advocates will tell you that too. But when they're not, and you need somebody to fight for you, and you want to hand the claims process off so all you have to do is heal and get back to the best version of yourself, get to theadvocates.com, where you never reach in your pocket to pay the advocates. In fact, you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. 24/7, 365. You can talk to an injury attorney live, not a bot, not a chat AI thingy-majigger. No, a live attorney where you want him, when you want him, at theadvocates.com. Happy Football Friday. A lot to get to today. Big games, really big games. USC Notre Dame is an elimination game. I think whoever loses that game has very little, if any, chance. Certainly Notre Dame is a 3-loss team without a conference championship title to save them. It's over if Notre Dame loses to SC.
Notre Dame, our mother.
That's right, friends, family, Jesus and James, everybody get to it. But I will tell you, there is no question in my mind. There is no question in my mind that when you look at the SC Notre Dame game, it is very difficult on any level, Jake, to look at that game and see it as something other than an elimination game. Do you think the loser of that game can still make the college football playoff?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's difficult at best to think, gosh, if, certainly for Notre Dame, as he was just saying, like for Notre Dame, you lose this game, really, or any other game, your season's over if it's not over already. And then, you flip over to USC, who, is a 1-loss team, regrets their loss to, Illinois. That was a bad loss, obviously. So if you lose that game, I think if you lose to Notre Dame, it's going to be really tough for you. Now, the good news is for USC, you still have a get-back game in Oregon, right? So, but the problem is that's not going to be until, November or something. So I look at the conference, and you're a 1-loss team right now. You're 5-1 overall, 3-1 in conference. Indiana and thee look really good, obviously unbeatens at this point. So you're probably not winning the Big Ten. And the biggest issue is going to be that you have to get, an at-large bid. And I think the biggest challenge with that is obviously going to be this right here, right? Obviously, the AP Top 25 is a steep hill to climb for either of these teams. And I sit here, and my question to you guys simply would be, hey, like USC sitting there at 20, obviously several football games going on this weekend. I'm not sure that if you lose this game, you have any way to get back unless you can come up with some kind of, I guess we'll call it a miracle win over Oregon late in the season.
Yeah, I think it's an elimination game. I'm a little surprised at the number, frankly, at 9.5, 60.5. This is going to be an explosive football game. I don't think I don't think anybody's got any delusions of grandeur about that. I think when you look at these two offenses, I think that's a certainty. Obviously, we have the Utah BYU Holy War game in Provo, Utah. Hello, Utah. I'm not convinced this is an elimination game for BYU. If BYU loses to Utah, I think they're still in the race. Now, obviously, this is going to require BYU to get some breaks, because if Utah and BYU finish one-loss teams and you go to the last week of the season like that, Utah's going to have the hammer. But I think there's so much time to go. As crazy as it is, you guys, we only have 6 weeks to go. We have 6 weeks left in the football season. It's wild. But I'm not as convinced as you are, Jake, that this is an elimination game. I think there's very little room for error anymore in college football, but I think BYU has some pad. But what you just said about Notre Dame, I don't think you have a whole lot of room to lose a game. That certainly takes all of your margin for error away. And I also think you look at this game right here with Ole Miss and Georgia. I'm a little surprised at this number. And I think a lot of it is that I just think that Georgia is getting too much respect here. I know that it's not popular, and I know that people don't want to hear about Trinidad Chambliss. I'm telling you, the cat's for real. Him and the two quarterbacks fully flying under the radar in this country right now are Lenora Sellers at SC, who I've been talking about for 2 seasons now, and Trinidad Chambliss. I think that Chambliss is going to impact this game a hell of a lot more than pretty much anybody wants to think. I think that's a big deal. And Bama at Tennessee, or Tennessee at Bama, I think is a good game. But I think Tennessee's defense is one of the most disappointing units in the entire country. And then you have this story with Texas Tech. Texas Tech at Arizona State. Arizona State's a huge dog at home. And yet, leading up to the game, we're talking about Texas Tech football versus Texas Tech football fan. And I think this is a big deal, excuse me. And I've been trying to coax Texas Tech fan to kind of shift their view of this. And I understand that Texas Tech has not been where it is now in a very long time. But you have to understand, you haven't arrived yet. So when you've spent the last 18 months of football games throwing stuff at opponents in your stadium on their sideline, and you won't get off the fact that you think this is about tortillas once a game, that's not what this is. And I think if you don't want to believe me, if you don't want to take my word for it, listen to Texas Tech in their own words.
Beginning this week, here is the policy. The first time a tortilla is thrown on the field, there's a PA announcement that's required as a warning. The second time a tortilla is thrown on the field, and they changed it. It's not the field, it's the playing enclosure. So even if it hits the sideline, if it hits behind the end zone, if it's in the playing enclosure, that second strike, it's a 15-yard penalty and a $100,000 fine.
Now, I know nobody listens to Uncle Monty, but isn't that exactly what I said? I said it's not that they're throwing stuff on the field. It's that they're pelting the opponent's sideline. So what did the Big 12 do? The Big 12 said, yeah, it's not necessarily that we're worried about throwing stuff on the field. You can't throw stuff out of the stands, period. If you throw it into the area where the game is being played, the field and the sidelines and the end zones and behind the end zones, that's a warning the first time. The second time, we're fining you $100,000. And if it happens twice in a game, that's 15-yard penalties right there. At some point, and I don't think that I have been extreme about this, even though if you look in our comments section and you look on Twitter, you think that I am the biggest hater of Texas Tech football ever. Because, again, it seems like the wilting flower at Texas Tech comes out when bad shit happens in Lubbock. And I'm just going to continue to tell you this right now. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. And let me be really clear. This is not about throwing tortillas in one time on the field. Traditionally, that's not what this is. If you guys were just throwing tortillas on the field once a game, we would not be talking about this. But I will continue to tell you, and I have talked to people in Lubbock really close to the football program. I had a guy yesterday tell me straight up, keep getting the message out there. We need people to understand this is serious. This is going to cost us games. Please keep talking about it. It's not tortillas once a game. It's that when the tortillas are being thrown onto the field, it's all the stuff that's being thrown with them. Water bottles. You want to believe in a pocket knife? Okay, great. But I can tell you, water bottles, batteries, and coins have been thrown on the field, according to people I've spoken to. And this isn't just, I love that Texas Tech fans like, oh, this is just lie told being soft. This isn't, I'm telling you, this isn't just Kansas. Right?
Lance
as much as
told is still goated, I'd like to point out.
I love it. I love it. I think it's one of the great glosses in the history of this show. But again, I'm just going to tell you, sources close to Texas Tech have told me every visiting opponent brings this up. Every single visiting opponent, dating back to last season, has brought this up to Texas Tech before and after the game because it's a huge problem. It is, and we watched it. I think we've probably seen it 4 or 5 times where a full water bottle thrown out of the stands is that close to hitting somebody.
Facts.
Do you understand that? Damn it. That's a concussion. That's an eye socket. But you guys say, oh, well, they just don't like that. Well, then stop scoring. Well, Monty, it's just a tortilla. It's not the tortilla thing once a game. And the once a game tortilla thing is turned into multiple times during a game.
Mm-hmm.
Be better. That's the truth of this. And I understand Texas Tech has not been on the national stage at this level for at least a decade, maybe more. But you've got to be better than this now. And I think everybody in the administration at Lubbock understands this, agrees with this. Having talked to again, not to keep telling you who I talked to, but a really well-placed source at Texas Tech football said, hey, we need you to keep talking about this. We need the message to get out. And I'm telling you, it just is, you got to stop throwing stuff on the field at Jones AT&T.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, and I don't really care about the whole, well, who's throwing it and like this and that and all the stuff that, football fans like to go to. The reality is that, this wouldn't be an issue if they didn't have evidence of it. That's the thing that you guys don't understand. I mean, they videotape the whole game in the stands. There's cameras everywhere, so they can say, yeah, with 5:52 left in the third, this happened. Go find the guy in the video. It's that simple. So I just think the assertion that it's like, oh, well, Kansas did this, or
They're
it was
jealous.
not one of our fans.
That's how many times I've heard. They're jealous. We have tradition and they don't. You really think this is about tradition at Texas Tech? That you think the Big 12 has rolled out $100,000 fine because they're jealous of your tradition? You think the conference wants to kill traditions? No, what they don't want is a water bottle killing somebody on the sideline. What they don't want is somebody getting their brain wrecked because you guys thought it was cool to throw water bottles on the field.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
That's not cool. It's not funny. It's not neat, right? Like, do you understand that you have become such a problem in the conference that you are now at a point where the Big 12 has rewritten policy to stop you from doing what you're doing? That's the level of concern that the Big 12 has for the actions of Texas Tech football fans.
It's a problem.
Even say that out loud. Texas Tech football fans, your behavior has gotten to a level where the Big 12 has rewritten a policy to make it a 6-figure penalty for doing what you're doing. And again, to be clear, all they're saying is, go ahead, throw your tortillas one time. We're just going to warn you at that point. One time, no penalties, no fines. We're just going to make an announcement, and we're going to warn you if it happens again, it's a $100,000 fine. I don't think it's that much to ask.
No.
I don't
think it's that much to ask either. And I think that this is the usual, hey, well, a couple of fans are ruining it for everybody type situation. And it's just not that difficult to handle, man. It's not that difficult to choose not to ruin a good thing.
And that's the right, man, you've had a good week not saying stupid stuff. I want to tell you, like, bro, you guys, how about this dude over here? He's not said, well, he has said some stupid stuff this week. And we haven't talked about Kim K yet. And he's going to say some stupid stuff. But
sucking a ding dong.
Okay, now all the good, smart stuff Jake ever did this week is out the window. My point is, I think you're exactly right. It's not that difficult. Don't trust him. Don't trust the compliments, Jake. It's a trap. Run, Jake.
Right.
$100,000. That seems a bit steep. Well, if you hit somebody with a full water bottle and you break their eye socket, is $100,000 steep?
No.
If the Big 12 is writing a policy that says it's a $100,000 fine, don't you think it's a big deal? Yeah, Steely. Lawsuits is what they need to worry about. Yeah. I'm telling you, people don't consider, do you understand if you throw a quarter? And from what I've been told, it used to be a regular thing that you would, batteries have kind of gone out because how many people really use batteries anymore? But coins are a pretty regular thing where you're getting coins in water bottles. Do you understand how much damage a fully flighted coin, if it hits you in the ear or the eye, do you know how much damage they have? Do you understand that a quarter dropped off thrown out of the stands can lodge into somebody's skull? That's not true. Okay. Okay. I've seen it. Yeah, it is a big deal, especially when the conference and the unis get sued. Well, that's exactly right.
And I just don't know why it's so hard not to be dumb. Like, why do we have to be this way? Why can't we not try to hurt people?
And I don't know when Tech fans got so weaponized. I routinely sit on this show and fillet Texas Tech football. And now I'm saying you can't injure people because they play for another college football team. And you guys, just Monty hates Texas Tech.
That's what.
God damn it.
Me the fuck off.
This Monty guy, all he ever does is rip. No, I don't.
You're a Utah fan. You hate Tech. Screw you.
I asked yesterday if I was a good Mormon, and resoundingly the answer was no. Toot Pants, Monty, the week's not over yet. Yeah, Jake's got plenty of time to say stupid stuff.
Yeah, I got plenty of time to mess this week up. Don't worry, guys. I'm here for it.
Right? Yes, I see everybody saying, you got to be on the right side.
You got to flip them, Monty. I can't work in this environment.
Are you happy I flipped them?
Now we're back in the configuration from yesterday, so you guys can all relax and, it's fine.
Unless I plan on doing some serious damage, I don't throw anything at anyone. I don't understand why you want to hit people with water bottles. This is different than throwing trash on a baseball field, or this is, if you're throwing a water bottle at somebody's sideline, you're trying to hurt somebody. You're trying to hurt somebody. This is the old, if you're going to pull that gun out, make sure you're ready to kill somebody. Right?
Yep.
Do an alternative. The school could please ask them to bring the tortillas unopened and have them donated into a bit. No, come on, man. We don't take dude, that's such a socialist thing to say. Donate tortillas. We don't want to help other people. The eye patch. I still have a cannon for an arm. Can you throw a football over a mountain? Man, if they'd have drafted you. The university is liable for any injury that happens in the stadium. Every pro team has this kind of stuff in a contract when you buy tickets. Yeah. It's sad that that's where we are, but that's where we are, kids. You know, like that to me that's who we are as fanatics. Like, I mean, look at how many people lose their minds over, dude, I needed one more free throw from you and you just didn't do it. I hope you die. Like, how many times does that happen on the old X
Doesn't get
machine?
any more red, white, and blue than that.
Right? Like it truly is what sports has become.
Yeah.
Like Twitter tough guy behind his keyboard.
And then we're surprised when Jonte Porter type things happen.
But do we have a gambling problem?
Yes.
We'll see if we'll get to it. But did you guys see this story about, and I just want to make sure I get it right. Did you guys see this story where sportsbooks flagged dozens of suspicious bets made by gamblers repeatedly wagering against the same small conference teams in 11 men's college basketball games over a 6-week stretch last season? So let me get this right. What is the smallest school you can think of? Iona.
Don't you know who I am?
So you're telling me a player at an Iona level school was being, all I can imagine is being manipulated at this small conference school to the point where gamblers were able to place bets in a 6-week period. Gamblers repeatedly wagering against the same small conference teams. Okay, so this is an investigative piece at ESPN. At least 9 sports books in 13 states and 1 Canadian. Well, I mean, the goddamn Canadians. And 1 Canadian picked up unusual betting activity.
We did what we did.
One sportsbook wrote in the documents that several bettors had potential links to the syndicate and referenced Marvis Fairley, a Mississippi man who sells betting picks online.
That's what they do.
Like, and the schools, Eastern Michigan, Ypsilanti, Michigan, hello.
Bro, does anything good happen in the state of Michigan? Like,
Nope.
honestly.
Nope. Temple, Nollins, North Carolina, A&T, and Mississippi Valley State. Like, the first one came in. The first alert came in on a Stony Brook game, December of 2024. Because a sportsbook noted unusual betting activity on Norfolk State. Dude, I got to find the win. What's the line on Norfolk State? Somehow, and what this feels like is, well, you know, my cousin's brother, he's smashing, Ned is smashing this lopsided chick. Her cousin's hairdresser, the hairdresser's Amazon driver's son, is smashing a girl whose brother plays at Norfolk State. They told me he'll go 0 for 62 from the 3-point line over the next 6 weeks.
You're filling in for somebody.
You just got to give him a little stipend. That's what this feels like to me.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and if it's happening
Right?
at Nowhereville School, what's going on at the power schools?
Yeah, Kyle. The Iona sideline reporter told me to bet the under. See, how is Oak State James? How is Oak State James catching strays already?
Yeah, is he even in here yet? He's probably charting still with Dana.
That's unbelievable. Northwest Missouri State.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Otherwise known as Abilene.
Gumby, don't mind me. I'm just here to get unked. Also, dude. Like we just are in this position where nothing is sacred. And I truly believe that gambling is destroying college sports. If you're a man and you're on a contract and you're making millions of dollars, all I can think is that you're responsible enough and you understand, Jonte Porter, that if you do this, your career's over.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
Do you understand that if you're at Norfolk State?
If you're at LSU, Keyshawn Booty.
Keyshawn Booty.
Booty.
I don't know that you understand that if you're, well, Keyshawn Booty did because he had multiple accounts.
Keyshawn Booty 1 at Gmail, Keyshawn Booty 2 at Gmail.
Keyshawn Booty 3, Keyshawn's Booty 4, the possessive.
Booty Keyshawn 3.
Nobody said they were smart. Marty actually knows where Ypsilanti is. Yeah, my sister went there.
Bro,
my
what
sister
are you talking
went there.
about, man?
Yeah. Plymouth, Canton, Michigan. Hello. Did Emmanuel Clase make any of those bets? Dude, but again, Jesse.
Bro.
True. Emmanuel Clase looked likely shadow banned for life.
Bro, the MLB is a deep cesspool of gambling problems. I'm bought in. I'm fully bought in. I'm sold. I am 100% in on it, dude. I think that Clase is just the tip of the iceberg, bro. I think that they're
No. Who's the tip of the iceberg?
Well, yeah, the great gambler.
Shohei Ohtani. I've been watching the interviews with the bookie who took the Ipe money. He fully believes that Shohei Ohtani was involved. To which I say, I don't know how you wouldn't. Like I say, I don't know. I don't know how you wouldn't.
Do you think it's weird that Ohtani deferred all the money? Is that, given the gambling situation and everything, should we now look back at that decision as suspect?
I think it's weird?
Because what people are tinfoil
inferring,
inferring, tinfoil hatting, what they're speculating is like, hey, well, he deferred his money because he never wants to be short on money again. He doesn't want to have a situation where he's irresponsible with his money or something, or any of the usual things that happen to people who have a gambling problem. And what's wild is like it's one of two things. He was either so good at this that he used Ipe as a layer, and Ipe was so loyal to him that he was willing to be a fall guy because he knew that because they had an agreement.
Real quick. You guys know the story. Ipe is Shohei Ohtani's translator. And you're not closer to anybody in this life. I mean, Jake and I are as close as you could probably get. And by all accounts, Ipe and Shohei were like that. Yeah. Like they were super close. I don't know how you believe that Ipe was wiring millions of dollars out of Shohei's account to a gambler to the point where the gambler's money guy, the guy that handled this bookie's wires, said, hey, bookie guy, it's Tommy, the wire guy. Hey, Tommy. Hey, I just want you to know, I just got a wire for $1.3 million from Shohei Ohtani for you. That's what was, and Major League Baseball said, nah, Shohei's not involved. And it wasn't one, it was repeated. And Ipe, the translator, went from a card game in a ballroom on the road with the Angels. That's how this started. Does everybody understand?
No, I don't think everybody understands.
You want to know how stupid Ipe was? I don't gamble at all. It's just I play daily fantasy. That's about the extent of it. Ipe was betting on soccer. You know why? You know how he lost so much money? Wasn't betting on baseball. He was betting on football, tennis, Kim K smashing. None of that. He was betting on soccer. A guy that I used to work with in network radio used to bet Premier League soccer games way back in the early 2000s, which is how I really, really fell in love with Chelsea Football Club. But you know how this betting on soccer works? It's win-loss in regulation. Do you know how many soccer games finish scoreless, 1-1, 2-2? In 90 minutes, you're betting on the final score in 90 minutes, win or loss. Do you know how many games go to extra time and there's a goal scored in extra time? So let's say you bet Chelsea to beat Manchester United. At the 90-minute mark, they're tied at they're goalless, 0-0, 0-0. In the 91st minute, Cole Palmer scores for Chelsea. They win 1-0. You bet Chelsea to win. Do you get paid on that bet?
No chance.
You lost. Because it was 0-0 after 90 minutes. You bet Chelsea to win within 90 minutes. And even though they won, you lost. If it finishes 0-0, you lost. You cannot win betting soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the funny part is
he lost millions of dollars betting soccer and could not stop. Allegedly, Ipe could not stop himself from betting on soccer like that to the tune of millions of dollars. He went from $1,000 buy-in in a card game in a hotel conference room on the road with the Angels to losing millions of dollars to this bookie. Because the bookie was friends with a couple of Anaheim Angel players, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
The Halos.
Right. He was friends with a couple of Angel players. So on the road, I think it was Florida. They went down to Florida. Angels were in Florida playing Tampa. And in the hotel, they had a conference room and they set up a poker game. Buy-in's like $2,000. Ipe gets into this game, wins some money. And they're sitting at the table talking and whatnot. And one of the players says, hey, this is Buddy. He makes book for a living. If you want to get in on that, I can make an introduction. And sure enough, they made an introduction. He gave Ipe a $5,000 credit limit. He went through that in 2 days. Paid it, doubled at the 10th, and it just kept going up and up and up. And then Ipe at one point owed $800,000. He got down $800,000 the next day. He comes in and says, hey, I need a larger credit line. I want to bet more. And the guy says, nah, I'm gonna freeze you here. You need to pay me, then I'll give you credit. An hour later, Shohei Ohtani wired $800,000 to this bookmaker. Just like that. So he upped it to $1 million. And then the wire, and then the wire. Dude, that's how this happened in a really compressed window of time.
So here's my question.
And we're supposed to believe Shohei didn't know.
I don't believe that. I think
I don't
Shohei
believe that
was
either.
Fully aware. And the point I was just going to make is, are we really to believe that Shohei wasn't the one gambling and using Ipe as a layer, as a cover? Because
I don't believe that.
Because what I don't understand is, okay, if it had happened once, right? Like, hey, you get down $800K, Ohtani didn't know about it. You got to pay off the bookie either way. It's got to get squared. Okay, if that just happened once, and then there were no other transfers, then it'd have been like, all right, yeah, this wasn't Ohtani. Ohtani was doing him. He's a ball player doing his thing. His boy got in trouble, bailed him out. We're good. Okay, but that's not the case. It's over and over again.
And you're not bailing him out by wiring $1 million directly from your bank account to a gambler.
Yeah, and so then it's like, and I remember reading the Rolling Stones was the first one that had the full article on this before the video interview came out. And I remember the guy, because they interviewed the bookie, like you were saying. Yep. And the bookie said something to the effect of, like, the day he saw that because he sees the ledger and he can see the, like, most when the wire comes in, most of the time it's like a business wiring him, or like it's rarely just like Bob or Ned or Steve sent you a certain amount of money. It's usually like an LLC, or like there's usually, because he's playing with a lot of money. And so he sees that it's like it said Shohei Ohtani, but it was like a business name after Ohtani. And he was like, yep, that's not normal. And this is he literally says in the interview, I knew right there that I probably shouldn't keep going with this guy because I knew that this would get me in trouble with the feds.
He said, I knew this is where it was going to come to an end. And this guy, to his credit, he did it. His book was very different to avoid people turning him in, because what happens with a lot of private bookmakers, Jimmy is into me for 25 large and he can't pay it. So what does he do? Well, he turns you into the FBI so he doesn't have to pay it. So to avoid that, what would happen is this bookie would pay everybody on Monday. And you know how he would pay him? He would go to all the people who lost and say, hey, I want you to use Venmo, and I want you to Venmo this Venmo phone number. And that Venmo phone number was to one of the winners. So let's say that you owed this guy, $9,000, but he said to you, hey, Venmo this phone number $8,000. And you know what? I'm going to give you a credit of $1,000. I'm going to rebate you $1,000 of your loss because you're using Venmo. I'm going to give you $1,000 this week back. So just go ahead and send $8,000 to this phone number. That $8,000 covered one of his winners, so he didn't have to come out of his pocket. So it was this big shell game, and he pays people on Monday. So if you're betting on football over the weekend and you're getting paid that Monday, you're thrilled. And if your bookie is rebating you $1,000 back on your loss, you're thrilled. You're not going to the FBI. And it's exactly what Jake just said. This dude said, I knew as soon as I saw Shohei Ohtani's name on that wire, this is where it was all going to come crashing down.
But see, and then it's like, not to point people out individually here in the comments section, but it's comments like this one where you're trying to say that he was cleared of wrongdoing. Do you really think Major League Baseball would do everything they can do to figure it out?
No.
I mean, this guy's the face of the league for like the next 25 years, dude. This guy is, and I don't care, bro. I don't care that he's on a career-defining drought right now. Don't care. This guy is absolutely the face of the league and a global icon. There is no way he was ever, under any circumstances, going to be disciplined or anything by Major League Baseball for this. Because the truth is, his ass should have been disciplined just for being involved in this in any capacity.
For having your bank account send money to a professional gambler multiple times, you should have been suspended for a year.
And then I'm supposed to believe or somehow be surprised when guys like Emmanuel Clase get banned for life, allegedly. That hasn't officially happened yet, but allegedly is going to happen.
And shadow banned at the moment, by the way.
And shadow banned at the moment, yeah. And I'm supposed to be surprised when, Clase happens, Jonte Porter happens. I'm not surprised, dude. So the idea that you have degenerates betting on Iona and betting on college football
Norfolk State.
Yeah, like Abilene State, Bonnie's, Christian University. Nobody's surprised, bro.
There's nothing good here, man. And Major League Baseball cannot have another Pete Rose. You cannot have, because I hope you guys understand, Shohei Ohtani tonight is going to take the mound and start for the Dodgers. It's a historic moment. It is
elimination game.
It is everything that Major League Baseball needs. He's a global icon from the Pacific Rim. Major League Baseball's footprint in China, Japan, the Koreas, exploding. If Shohei Ohtani, the most prolific Japanese baseball player ever, who is a two-way superstar, never been done before at this level, is banned for life because he was gambling. Oh my God. Do you know the damage? Yeah. Do you know the damage?
Immeasurable.
Truly immeasurable. Damn, bro.
Yeah. Let me do it again, dude. It's just you can't even. At this point with the week I'm having, it's immeasurable in multiple ways, dude.
Your pea-sized brain rolling around that bowling ball-sized cranium of yours, it's unbelievable.
Dude. Yeah.
And the thing that's amazing, it's banging off your skull like a pinball, and you're just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Can you measure it?
Nope.
I mean, well done, kid.
Thanks, bro.
It would truly be immeasurable.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Major League Baseball might never recover, because the unknown and untold losses would be catastrophic. So I think at the end of the day, my opinion is this is catastrophic in sports. I think you are going to have a big name in one of these sports. And frankly, it's probably going to be basketball or the NBA. Because it's much more difficult in the NFL to singularly impact a game unless you get a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to be baseball or the NBA where a big name star is going down. And I hope it doesn't happen. I hope I am wrong. I could see one of the best college basketball players getting knocked down, dude. And what I don't think college athletes understand, you're risking tens of millions of dollars.
Yes.
You'll never be employed in the major leagues, the NBA, the NFL. It'll never happen. Ever. Big Pontiff. Maybe they would ask him to play basketball for a couple of years with the SLC Stars.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows, right?
You take you a deuce. You don't sit there and look at it. You flush it and move on.
Okay.
Send his ass down, dude.
Are you Yeti? I'm going to dress up as a tortilla throwing a fan for Halloween. Okay. I like it.
Boy.
Otani's bank was too big to fail. Exactly. And the sad thing is, who's another Trevor Bauer? Trevor Bauer can't even get a phone call, and Shohei Ohtani is being put up as the greatest baseball player ever. And he might well be if he can stop throwing his front hip open when he swings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hip throwing is something those two share,
Hey, now. Rules are rules. Break them and you're out. That's not the way our country works.
Nope.
That's not. That should be how it works. But we only like rules when they're not applied to us. This is bigger than college pay for play in the 80s, since gambling is prevalent in all forms of sports, whether you're amateur or pro. It's true. Yeah, I just don't think in any way, shape, or form you can allow any participant in a sport to gamble on any level. I think you're just going to get shellacked for it. And you can't. It's already tough to believe. Are you telling me that there are not NBA officials who are on the pocket of gamblers?
Oh, please. Come on.
NFL officials.
Come on. And you know what I always look for, too, is like
Patrick Mahomes' brother.
Why is the NBA so prolific with it? Because it's easy to manipulate. Right?
It is. And it's one of the biggest money makers in daily fantasy. I love Prize Picks NBA. It is one of the most enjoyable things I do every day. And I can absolutely understand why it's manipulated.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like it is. It just is. Yeah. It's crazy to me. And we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be really tough to get away from. Hey, I want to get back to this Bill Belichick story at North Carolina. How bad is this? Because if you haven't seen this video, and Jake continues to violate the rules that I set forward on this show.
You can be pissed about this. I put this whole thing in there because I think people deserve to see this.
Jake's got a 37-minute video of Jordan Hudson and Bill Belichick. I'm kidding. This is 1 minute and 49 seconds, and it is way too long. But I think it's important to understand the context of. Jake, how would you describe this video?
Yeah, I would describe this as, first of all, one of the most compelling things that I've seen in the Bill Belichick saga at UNC, number one.
Oh,
right?
you would?
So, absolutely.
You think it's compelling?
I think it's incredibly compelling. I think if you just take the video at face value, you're like, dude, what are we looking at? But if you consider the fact that this is the first time as, the public, that we've had a chance to see them in their element when they feel nobody is watching. If you look at the video from that standpoint, you're like, whoa, dude, like this is totally different. We knew Bill Belichick was a bit of an asshole, but to see the absolute, just disrespect towards, the people that are trying to help them put a TV show together, and like just the way that they go about this is wrong. And again, I just think, to me, it's incredibly compelling because I think we so rarely, as the public, the media, let alone the public, get a behind the scenes, hey, what is this guy who's a legend in the NFL and struggling at the college level? What is he like behind the scenes with this lady who is, again, is controversial? What are they like when nobody's watching? And I'm just telling you guys, like, I get it. It's a long clip, but dude, they literally leave the table and go off camera so they can talk crap about people.
Stop talking about it. Let's show them the video, Jake.
Oh, that looks great. Oh, that's awesome.
Let's go back. Okay. Thanks, Cody. Yep. All right.
We should have Tony pull the set.
No kidding. Thank you for helping solve this marriage problem.
You should send him one of those texts, like, even when I'm working, even when I'm with somebody else, I'm thinking of you. I was thinking of you the whole time. You want to something? We should get Tony in here.
You're very much.
He would make this place better than what it is, I'll tell you that.
On like a really serious note, on some of the things that we want to have mounted and whatnot. I mean, there's some things that fall through the cracks, but for the most part, everything is actually really well done. You don't have to give Tony every single little detail in order for him to figure it out.
That's right.
I don't know how they have 4 full-time graphics people.
I can't do
Right.
That's not really Joe's thing. That's what I was just talking about. It's not really Joe's thing. Like, could we teach him to do it? Yeah, but then he becomes a graphics guy, and we need somebody who did that for us, and we have to figure out who's available to do that.
Who knows how to arrange the stats? Because I have a graphics person who helped me with the website.
We need a football person.
I think they're using all of the underdog people from the other things that don't know how to do anything else aside from what they do on all the other shows, which honestly, frankly, really isn't that good. The same thing that we ran, like the final thing for the coach logo that we ended up with was like white letters on a black background. I was like, we're not doing that. Like, make it leather, like, make it something.
Bro.
Just crushing people, insulting people, talking about how around this place. Like, I am amazed. I am amazed at how bad this looks for North Carolina. Not for Bill Belichick, not for Jordan Hudson. But do you understand? They didn't get caught. He's wearing a microphone shooting a docuseries about his life at North Carolina as the football coach. You said this knowing you were wearing a microphone. This wasn't like a plant or a mole, or this wasn't little Frederick being like, oh, hey, don't look at my phone. Hey, Bill. That's not what this was. He was mic'd up. Cameras are in the room. He's aware of that, and he's still crushing people that he works around. This is the same thing as Gannon on the sideline for the Cardinals. You are being ruthless to people who have no way to defend themselves. You're just being a guy who doesn't care about the small people, who doesn't treat people well. You look like an asshole because you're insulting people who work for you. And then you watch this next clip, and it doesn't make you feel any better.
Necessary to say keep them out of the end zone because I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory on defense. I don't know if there's like an additional point.
Yeah. It's a
100%. 100%.
I feel like that applies to all defenses.
Well, no, but we just said that the Cowboys' offense is the best offense in the league. They have the most yards per game. So they're going to get the ball down there. Mm-hmm. We know they're going to get the ball down there. Preventing touchdowns and forcing the field goals is going to be a key to the game.
Yep.
I mean, we could say it differently.
Is that red zone specific, conceptually?
Well,
should that say red zone instead of end zone?
Well, there's explosive plays involved.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys haven't reviewed these before this moment here?
Not the graphics.
Not the actual graphic itself, no.
Does she know anything about football?
Does Bill have any control? I mean, does he even coach the team anymore?
He does. I don't hear that he's out of control. I hear that she's trying to inflict her place in this organization and doesn't know anything about football. Is that the same thing as the end zone? Should we replace the word end zone? Is that the red zone? No, it's not. You're not trying to keep them out of the red zone as much as you'd like to. You're trying to keep them out of the end zone from scoring a touchdown while they're in the red zone. Different, not the same. And do you see why Hulu hated this? She just seems to be a control freak to me.
Yeah,
get out of the way.
What he sees. I mean, what is? I guess what I don't understand, and this is why I think it's so fascinating, dude. This is a guy that ran the show for years, decades, and now you met this girl on a plane, and we're here.
Ooh, big breaking news out of Lubbock. Baron Morton out this week. Will Hammond, according to ESPN, Will Hammond will start at quarterback. Barron's been dealing with a leg injury, quote unquote.
Is his college career over?
Yeah, I think it is. It's going to be really tough and we've talked about this ad nauseum now. I think it's going to be really tough for that locker room to believe that Baron Morton could carry them to a conference championship. I think this is rough. If Will Hammond comes out and balls out, Baron Morton's done.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a good chance he's done already. I think we were talking about this after the Utah game, and that was several weeks ago now. Of like, hey, and the excuse was, well, Utah's defense was tired. Okay, that's fine. But the reality is Hammond was incredibly prepared and made it look easy. So I don't know, man. I do think it's going to be an ass kicking for the Pitchforks this weekend.
I don't know about that. I don't. You really think it's going to be?
Yeah, I think that they will. I think that Utah dominated that team, and if Utah dominated that team, I don't see any reason why Tech wouldn't dominate that team. With all due respect to Kenny.
Because this is a different zip code. This is a different game. I think this is a huge moment in time for Kenny Dillingham. I think that when you start looking at what this game means and what's on the line in this game, I just don't think there's any doubt that Texas Tech is the better team. But I also don't think there's any doubt that Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State are playing for their season. And I think when you have a wounded dog, you need to put that dog down. And I don't know that you can do that. I truly think this is going to be really, really tough. In my opinion, this is going to be very, very difficult for Texas Tech. This is going to be a tough game. I think talent man for man, sure. Texas Tech is a better football team. But I'm telling you now, this is going to be a brawl. That's what it feels like to me. This is going to be a brawl, and you're going to have a situation where, in my opinion, I think this is just so important for Kenny Dillingham. It's so important for Arizona State, because we've talked. How many times have we talked about this now, you guys? That you just don't have. You do not have the room for error anymore. And when you look at Arizona State, you're 4-2 now, boys. You're in a group where I just don't think you can lose 3 games. Does not make the playoff. That's you're done. And I think when you look at the conference standings, Arizona State's 2-1. If they win this game, they're 3-1. They'd be tied with Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, Utah and BYU, and I think Utah is going to beat BYU. That means Arizona State would be 3-1, Tech would be 3-1, Utah would be 3-1, Cincinnati would be first place in the conference. Let that sink in. Like there is a viable scenario, because Cincinnati's at Oak State. I would assume we all believe Cincinnati's going to beat Oak State. There's a scenario where if Cincinnati wins this weekend, they're 4-0 and they're in first place in the Big 12. Let that sink in. Now that requires Arizona State to win and Utah to win. And I don't believe that Arizona State, I wouldn't, if you got ducats or you got bills you're putting down on this, I wouldn't tell you to be betting on Arizona State. But I really like Utah. You know how much we've talked about the Holy War this week. I really like Utah. And I think Texas Tech is going to have to fight for their life. Now, Will Hammond coming in and getting that job, this is a huge deal for the Big 12. Will Hammond.
Well, what I was going to say is I just think that Arizona State, for them to win this game, they're going to have to hold Tech under 24 points, because you're not putting up 30 points on that defense. And that's what I struggle with is, and obviously, you know, we'll get deep into this game, but like, I think that's conceptually, that's the thing is like, you know, Tech, let's say Will Hammond comes out and shocks the world and struggles, right? Just, I don't think that'll happen, but let's say struggles and they don't have a good showing offensively, you know, and they only put up, you know, 21 points, 20 points.
Yes. Yep.
You know, then I think you're playing a tight game. But I don't know, man. I think that I just don't have a way where ASU's offense can keep up. That's the problem. And that's been their issue this year is without Scat, you just haven't been, you know, and obviously your quarterback's dealing with injury too. And, you know, he hasn't quite had the season he was looking for. So I agree. They're playing for their season, and that definitely means something. That's worth something.
And nobody gets their team up like Kenny Dillingham does.
Yeah.
He will have those bros running through the proverbial. He's running through a brick wall for Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah.
Right? Like you and I both know.
Yeah, he will.
You and I both know that's happening. All right. The Monty Show is always presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. There he is. Our favorite motorcycle riding Rob Adams.
I'm a survivor.
Yes.
Yeah. How many lives you got left there, kitty cat?
I got to tell you, I'm done trying them out. That's for sure. I'm good. Thanks.
So now, and I might have taken this personally. I might have taken your motorcycle accident personally. Because you were supposed to appear on the show and then, you got into some kind of accident. I think, is it true that you just didn't want to come on the show that week?
That's the very reason I broke my leg, arm, and shoulder. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing the show again. Dude, no, I love you guys.
What happened? Tell us about, because you were on 15. Like, tell us what happened with your motorcycle accident.
I was getting on the freeway, a turn that I've done a million times. I was going around the turn, the gentle turn to get onto the on-ramp.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the ground before I knew it was happening. There was no shimmy, no, oh boy, here we go. I was bam, body slammed, broke my leg, folded my foot up to my knee on the outside.
Oh my God.
Broke my shoulder and my arm all at the same time in seconds. It was so quick.
Oh no.
And I wasn't even going I was not going fast. It was a day that was made perfectly for riding. I was thinking like, this is what motorcycles were made for. And then next thing you know, I'm looking at the sky wishing I had taken the truck.
Was it a rut? Was it a pothole? Like what got you?
I think there was a little bit of sand or some gravel that was out there, but I've been riding for a long time.
Yeah.
If I said 15 years, I don't think I'm exaggerating. And I've never experienced anything so sudden, and it was out of my control. That's what's got me not writing. If I was kind of messing around and I found out some bad news, well, then I had it coming, but I was not. See how I watered that down?
Yes. How bad was the bike?
Totaled.
Oh.
Completely totaled. It slid on its side for a long ways, and then it caught and flew into the air and landed on its other side and slid again.
Wow.
So, yeah, that bike is gone.
Where are you? When did this happen?
It happened at the beginning of June, so it's just been a short period of time. I'm walking. I'm on my feet, so incredibly blessed to be on the show today.
Wow. So how much damage was there to the lower extremities?
2 plates, 16 screws. The shoulder and the arm were inoperable because it was up in the socket. You know what I mean? Like it broke the ball and the plate. And so they're on the mend, but you know, I don't bounce back like I used to. I'm an old guy.
You're old. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're right. We were really worried for you when we heard about that. And it's one of those things where isn't that the hard reality of life? And this is interesting because obviously Thanksgiving heroes, Rob Adams, you guys, he's been on the show multiple times. You know that Rob works so hard to feed families, feed kids, and not just at Thanksgiving, year round, like you're always working hard. But it's funny to me the way that life cycles. Right. We're talking about trying to keep people healthy and fed and, you know, moving about their way. And it's something just like that, where you're loving life. It's a beautiful day. And then you blink and you're on the ground and your foot's next to your kneecap. Like that has to be very difficult to deal with, that immediacy of it.
It was difficult. I'm going to tell you, and I don't mean this in any kind of a advertising kind of a way, but as I was laying there on the road, kind of having that moment of like extreme mortality, if you know what I mean, like I could be dead right now. The one thing that really came to my mind is what we're going to talk about today, a Thanksgiving's Heroes. Of course, I thought about my family and I thought about all of the things that are important in my life, but this is so a part of who I am. It was just, I'm a lucky dude. I'm a lucky dude to have this opportunity to serve these people, and I really had that moment. You know what I mean?
Did you really think about your life being over?
Yeah. It slammed me to the ground so hard. It just knocked the air out of me. And then when I could finally catch my air, I couldn't exhale without screaming. I was in so much pain. It was crazy. And so I thought it was over.
Wow. Were you geared up? Were you wearing a helmet or anything?
I had my helmet on, but it was one of those vanity helmets that just looks cool, you know, like from you see on it wasn't a .U rated helmet, but I'm glad I had it on because look at all this. I got zero padding right there. I got to have something to protect that melon.
I have zero padding. Well, you know what, man? I definitely want to talk about Thanksgiving Hero and your event tomorrow, but I just think that moment of understanding, and you're screaming in pain, you can't breathe, you can't think. But that moment, like, has that moment in time gotten more powerful as you've moved away from it?
Oh man, that is a great question. I was actually just thinking about, I journaled about this today because since the accident, I have this moment of like extreme gratitude for everything. Like, look at those mountains, look at this meal, look at my family, look. And you kind of get back into the habit of taking everything for granted. We take life 100% for granted. And I've been in this place of extreme gratitude for the past 107 days where I just am so blessed that I'm still here and have another chance to do whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Let's
tell me what Thanksgiving Heroes is.
Thanksgiving Heroes is a local nonprofit, local people helping local people. 1 in 5 kids here don't eat unless they're at school. And last year on the Monty Show, you helped me feed hundreds of families by reaching out to these listeners and having them step up, do donations, actually nominate families here locally, and then volunteer. They would come and show up and help deliver the food. On the 22nd of November, we're going to deliver 3,500 families meals. That means you pull in, it's like 730 cars to come through. I put the food in the back of your car and you get to drive away and go serve these families and look them in the eye. And, you know, it's not about the food. This is my other big aha moment from this event. The food is the vehicle that we use to connect. It's the vehicle that I'm using to have your family connect with another family and both families to be blessed. I'm facilitating gratitude through a turkey, for gosh sakes. Like, it's the simplest thing in the world. But every year we have to raise enough money to buy, I'm going to buy 277,000 pounds of groceries, and I can't do it without your help. That's a lot of turkeys, man. And so we need people to show up. We need people to deliver, people to nominate good families here that could use the help. And then, of course, always, I've got to buy those groceries. And so tomorrow we're having a car show out here in the Fort Union area. It was a restaurant bar called the Midway. They're rebranding to the Watershed.
Nice.
And then we're going to have a couple of bands. We're going to have some celebrities that are going to be emceeing. And we mostly just want to have everyone. It's mostly about awareness at this point. Like, come down and let's shake hands. Let's talk about it. Get involved and join us. It's a movement.
Yeah. I think that part about, when we're all the 1%ers, frankly, most of us are the 1%ers. And I think when you deliver somebody food at Thanksgiving, it's not the food necessarily. The food is the vehicle. It's the relief that you see. It is the fear and the anxiety run out of, like, quite literally, you can see it run out of their face. And yeah, right? Like, it's that belief, oh my goodness, we're going to have stuffing. My kids are going to have a turkey. They're going to have a pumpkin pie. Like, that connection, and you've done that so many times, and I would just ask you, how powerful is that connection?
That's probably the best question you've ever asked me, if I might just say that right now. That's the best one. It is the reason. It's the reason that I was made. It's the reason that I work so hard to do this. The reason that I've been put on this planet is to create this opportunity for you and your family, for me and my family, to serve and connect. We are so diversive right now, so far apart from one another. And at the end of the day, left or right, middle or center, if we all can agree that hungry kids is not okay. And you're right. You literally can see these families. You see a child look to his mom and go, pumpkin pie? My kids, I give them a pumpkin pie. They're like, meh, it needs batteries. And so,
right.
You just have an opportunity to shift your perspective from how wonderful our life is to actually how grateful we are. Back to what I was saying about staying in that place of gratitude. This really centers you in, man, my life is great. It's so good.
Yeah, and I think the idea that kids don't have things like basic necessities. We talked about it when we raised a bunch of money for school supplies and the basic needs. But when you think about the kids, if they're not in school, they're not eating.
Zero food.
Yeah, it is. When you think about the fact that, places like food pantries are empty because there's so much need. And the thing I always tell people when we talk about poverty and kids, and I say to myself, man, I own a home in Daybreak, and I have these green spaces where there's 10, 15 kids playing a touch football game. Like, fully half of those kids may well not have food tonight. They don't know.
Statistics, 3 to 5 of those kids are hungry.
And you know what? That statistic doesn't say, well, they're Democrats or they're Republicans or they're liberals or conservatives.
Yeah.
They're children who are in a circumstance not of their own making. And that's the thing that I think really changed the first time that you ever said that, like 1 in 5 kids is hungry. That shouldn't happen.
Here where we live, it's insane.
It just shouldn't. Well, okay. So what do you tomorrow car show? What do you need? How can we and our viewers help you?
No, if you got a car you want to show off, bring it. We still have room to get people in the car show. I could send you the link so that we can have people register for that. The other thing that we could really use always is just come down and have a beer with us and have some fun, and then go home and tell people, like, this is a local group. These are real people doing real things. If you give me the money, I'm going to buy groceries with it. I'm not driving a nice car because I run a nonprofit. I want that money that you give me is sacred funds to go right where it's supposed to be. And you're not going to get that feeling unless you come down and you meet my crew, the board, the volunteers that are there, because we're genuine, just trying to do good. And I like that about my organization. That's how it continues to grow, is because people get involved, they show up, and they're like, oh, hey, these are real people doing real things here. This is amazing. And it's hard to connect like that.
Yeah. And obviously you have a really good partnership with the Advocates at theadvocates.com. I mean, how has that partnership helped you guys feed kids?
The Advocates they've literally helped me feed thousands of families. I mean, they are amazing. They've also helped me with my motorcycle accident. They showed up and they supported me when I was going through that. And so not only do I believe in them as good people, but I feel like they have a solid product. And I wouldn't say that without knowing, but they took good care of me. They used small words to explain what was happening next in court. You know what I mean? They did.
Yes.
They did what was necessary in order for me to feel comfortable and confident in my case. But then at the same time, they're doing great in the community. They're amazing partners. They're the ones that are sponsoring the car show tomorrow.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, and I say this, Jake and I talk about this all the time. It's not that the Advocates are these amazing lawyers, because they are. They truly are. But they're in the communities, and we talk about this all the time, and whether it's Southern California, Washington, Idaho, wherever the Advocates have an office, that community gets support from the Advocates. And you're a great example of that, because I just think without support of companies and businesses like the Advocates, guys like you, man, I don't even know how to say it. You stretch pennies into dollars in ways that I can't even imagine. How can people donate to help you feed families this Thanksgiving?
They can come to thanksgivingsheroes.org. Click on the that is our URL. Go into Salt Lake. We're in different cities now where the Advocates are helping us in Phoenix and Scottsdale. But click on Salt Lake, because you donate local, that stays local. It's important that we understand that, because I think sometimes we donate and off it goes, right? And so I want to help local families with your local dollars.
Awesome, Rob. Well, I'm thrilled that you're physically able, man.
That's scary, man.
Yeah, it is so good to see you in the red glasses back on the show. It is.
How long have you worn red glasses, man? How long has it been?
It's been about 5 years. I got them kind of on a whim, like, oh, those look cool. And now if I take them off and wear my black ones or yellow ones or whatever, it's like Clark Kent. People are like, who are you?
Yeah, you look vaguely familiar, but I don't know.
Are you Shrek? Who is
this? Exactly. You know, we've talked about a lot of things. Hell, yesterday we talked about whether or not I would make a good Mormon. So you being Shrek with green glasses on, probably stick with the red in my opinion. But I mean, dude, you just do so much good for our community, and the families and the kids of Utah are better off because of the work that you and the Advocates do. And I just thank you so much for doing that. I thank you for coming on and talking about something that, frankly, I think a lot of people are too embarrassed to talk about their need, and too embarrassed to say, hey, I can't afford to feed my kids at Thanksgiving, let alone next Tuesday or tomorrow. I think it's vitally important what you're doing, and I just thank you so much. Where is the car show tomorrow? Give us all the details one more time.
It's at a restaurant bar called the Midway. It will be called the Watershed after tomorrow, but you can look it up on your phone as the Midway. It's right over here in Fort Union, kind of the Mid-Del Murray area. And we're starting the car show at 10. And we're going to go. We've got 3 bands that are going to play, and we're going to go till they call the police and someone gets arrested. That's our goal.
Well, you know what? Well, don't get arrested, but right up to the line, please. Okay. And if you happen to get in trouble, call the Advocates, right? Rob,
that's right.
Good to see you, my guy. Be healthy. Let's have you on. Let's have you on before Thanksgiving again, man. Let's keep working to raise money for you.
Thanks, boys. Grateful.
Always good to see you. Be well. There you go. Rob Adams, Thanksgiving Heroes, you guys. I cannot say it enough. It is shocking to me. And I know you guys are going to say that this is a sales pitch. Okay, call it what you want. I don't care how you spin it. I want to feed kids. And I've talked about this for months and years and decades on this show. No kid in this country should be hungry. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I do not care where you are on anything other than let's all agree that kids should never be hungry. And I just ask you, if it's in your wallet and in your heart today, please make a donation to the Advocates on Venmo. They send that money directly to Rob Adams and the folks at Thanksgiving Heroes, who take every penny they get and they buy things like turkey. They buy things like, again, pumpkin pies, stuffing, yams. Like, it's not like they're out living high on the hog. Just the opposite. These are families who can't feed their kids, and I've been there, and I've done it when you give somebody a box of food, the relief and I don't even know what the peace that you watch overcome them, because for the next week, they take meals. When you hand somebody a box of Thanksgiving foods that they can make a Thanksgiving meal with, they don't make a Thanksgiving meal. They take that food and they stretch it as long as they can. Because it's not like it's just for Thursday. It is as long and as for many days as possible. That's why guys like Rob Adams, and when I tell you, the Advocates are really good people. They care about their communities. And if you're somebody, yes, absolutely have been in an accident, you got to get to theadvocates.com. You can chat with a live attorney. Trust me, you will not regret it. But when you think about hungry kids and hungry people, and you think about what the Advocates do, they work in their communities. And I'm just telling you, please, if you have it in your heart, think about making a donation. I also have some, if you want to go to this car show, if you're in Salt Lake, I'd really encourage you to go. It's always, I'm a huge car guy. Right. And it is this, their whole thing is rev up for gratitude, drive out the hunger this holiday season. And I really just hope that you will consider stopping by and supporting Thanksgiving Heroes. And it's Saturday. Tomorrow is October 18th, 10:30 a.m. And I think Rob said 10, but let's call it 10:30 to 2. There's going to be food trucks. There's no cost to get in. Live music. And here's the address. It's in Midvale, Utah, 7176 South 900 East, Midvale. It's in Midvale. It is right in the middle of the valley, you guys. Please consider going. I'll put a link in the comment section here so that if you want to go and register, that you guys can register. And there is the link right there. If you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, or obviously here on YouTube, if you're one of the 8,000 people watching the show, please consider going to the car show, going to Thanksgiving Heroes, donating. It's just such a good cause. It is such a good cause. Man, good man. You will know him by his works, not his words, and no doubt. Yeah, Shrek though, right? Right, Shrek.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, yeah, it is a shameful statistic. It is really crazy. Crazy. Oddly enough, I could have stayed in a rehab nursing home facility another week or so, but got out a tad early to enjoy Thanksgiving with my family at home. Gives real meaning to Thanksgiving. Doesn't it though? Like it's, and I know we got to get to games, and how much are you taking for granted every day? And I told you my wife is in Amsterdam right now with her mom, and we've had this big upheaval in our lives. And, like I'm thinking about my homes in Salt Lake and, like all this stuff I've just had to go through to just be sitting here is nothing. I have never once wanted for food, gas, car. I drive, like I said, I drive a $100,000 BMW, right? Like I have never wanted for anything. And it's remarkable to me that we have people like Rob Adams, who almost died in a motorcycle accident not even 6 months ago, 107 days. And this guy's out here breaking his ass to do a car show to help feed hungry families at Thanksgiving. And it's not like he's getting paid on it. He's a nonprofit. Right? And again, I ask you, when you drive down your street today, and in Utah, we have a very good existence. We have families, we have kids, we have all this stuff just right in front of us. I just ask you to consider, when you're driving down the street, I want you to consider how many of those kids are hungry. And let that sink in. Let that sink in, because we've worked so hard to build our lives. Do you have $5 that you can donate right now to the Advocates, who will give it to Thanksgiving Heroes? Right? Do you have, I don't care if it's $2, $5, $10, if you've got a couple $100. Do you know the difference that makes to Thanksgiving Heroes if you donate $5? Do you know how far he can stretch that? That's what I'm asking you for today. Just consider. King of Thailand just sent $50 to the Advocates. Thank you.
And we do have a donation in there as well.
I really appreciate that. You got it means so much. Let's see. Whoa, wrong button. There it is. $100. Thank you very much. That's amazing. You guys. And stuffing for the Morty Rectory. Who's that, Jake?
Gabe Ledley.
Gabe Ledley. Thank you. Thank you, Gabe. I'm just telling you guys that's $150 in 2 minutes. If you have it in your wallet and you have it in your heart, I just ask you to consider it. Because people like the Advocates and Rob Adams and the food pantries, like all the food pantries we raise money for on this show throughout the year with the Advocates, they're on the front lines. And they're all trying to figure out how to get a can of vegetables, or Rob with his Thanksgiving meals, right? If you've got $5, if you've got $105, please consider it. And I'm going to ask you for it for the rest of the show. And I just hope that we can figure out a way to make that happen, because I think it really matters. Thank you very much. There's 25 more. Thank you.
Tom Dean.
I appreciate that. So that's $130 or $175 right there. Huge deal, dude. And the idea that kids are hungry at Thanksgiving, that should just never happen. Not in our society. And I struggle. I get emotional over it, right? I will tell you, I have struggled. I've told you guys this story. I was homeless for 2 days. That's the strife I've had in my entire life. I've been in debt? I've struggled with this or that. I was homeless for 2 days when I was 22 years old or something like that. That's the entirety of the struggle in my life. I've always been an earner. I've always been a hard worker. I've worked multiple jobs. I've never, even in the housing crash of 2008 or the recessions, the pandemic, I've always been able to provide for my family. And to this day, and I'm 52 years old. Wow, that's 30 years ago. I have never forgotten sleeping in my car at Condell Hospital in Libertyville, Illinois. I'll never forget that feeling. Not knowing what was I going to do? How was I going to you know what I remember vividly? Going into the hospital and finding the shower room to take a shower, and just rushing through to take a shower and putting on dirty clothes. I say dirty clothes I'd worn the day before, because I didn't have a way to do laundry at that point. But imagine that as your life every single day. Imagine that. I've had that struggle for 2 days in my entire life.
It's really tough.
So
that's really tough, bro.
Man, that is. I can't believe that 1 in 5 kids in our community is hungry. I don't know what you do with that. And I just am so thankful and grateful to be partnered with the Advocates, because they truly are out there supporting people like Rob Adams, who's out there supporting a ton of people. So thank you for that. There endeth the sermon, unless you have anything to add, Jake.
No, I second everything you said. And I think that it's look, man, it's just one of those things where yeah, I mean, it's unacceptable for kids to be hungry. And I also think that it does speak volumes about Rob and the effort that you just were in, like a life-defining accident on your motorcycle. And
my foot was next to my knee.
Yeah, like you're now out here continuing the fight. So, I just think, we get a lot of questions about, like, where does the money go and all that. I think it's pretty clear where the money goes here.
Yeah, man, it makes me really emotional to think about kids not having food. I don't know why. It just really gets me.
Well, it just shouldn't happen. That's why. That's why it's so
shouldn't happen.
It just shouldn't happen. Yeah.
We have too much in this world to have kids that are hungry. And I just, man, that's tough. Yeah, when things are taken away from you, you learn about taking things for granted, even just simple, trivial things. Truth. Like it is. Yeah, your health is a great example of that. All right, let's get back to football. I appreciate all of you listening to me rant about this, and just thanks so much for contributing. Texas Tech, Arizona State. Breaking news just in the last 30 minutes. Will Hammond will start at quarterback for Texas Tech at Arizona State. Jake, how significant do you think this is?
I think it's a big deal. I think it's an upgrade for Texas Tech. I think that Baron Morton is not a guy you want in a big game on the road, and I think his track record says that. We've spoken about it. We spoke about it before the Utah game. And even though Tech won that game, I think in Barron's time in that game, that kind of came to fruition. We kind of saw that play out in several different ways. And I think that, Will Hammond is, as you say, the backup quarterback's always the best quarterback on your roster. But I just think that Will came into the game, looked prepared, didn't look phased at all, even a little bit, and put the Utes away. And what's hard for me is that I look at this game and I don't disagree with you on any level that, ASU's playing for their season and it's Kenny Dillingham. And I agree. Those guys are going to be running through a brick wall for dude. No question about it. At the same time, I think that Texas Tech and Joey have something to prove this week coming off of the Kansas experience. And I think that all of this conversation about tortillas and pocket knives and Big 12 fines and just all of that drama and nonsense, I think is a really good opportunity for Joey and the staff to kind of double down on the team and say, hey, look, man, we need to make this about football, right? We need to make this about us going out, executing a game plan, and reaffirming our position as the dominant force in this conference. And so for me, this game is absolutely more about Tech than it is about Arizona State. If Texas Tech is that guy, if Texas Tech is a college football playoff contender, you'll go out and beat this team by 14 points. You will dominate them on both sides of the ball. You will physically impose your will, but I don't think it'll be 14. I think it'll probably be 10. I think that Tech will look good. I think ASU will put up a fight in the first half and limit them a little bit. And then I think that you probably get put to bed in the third quarter. A lot of garbage time in the fourth.
Yeah, I'd expect to see a lot of Cameron Dickey. I mean, I think that's the running back battle in this game is going to be huge. Rayleigh Brown for Arizona State. I think we saw with Jeff Sims last week. They got blown out, and I don't know if it would have mattered if they had the quarterback or not. But I think Rayleigh Brown is going to have to really work hard against Texas Tech because that's a hell of a run defense. I think that Cameron Dickey and Rayleigh Brown probably determine this game. I think Tech wins it by a touchdown. I don't love this line. It's 7.5. I've seen this line as much as 9.5, which I don't like. I could see this being 6. I think it goes over because I do think there's going to be points scored in this game. I think there will be points scored in this game, and I think, this feels like a 27. This feels like a 27, 20, 31, 27, 31. I think it's a one-score game. I think it's a one-score game late.
For what it's worth, the line has shifted officially to -6.5 now. So it is going towards Arizona State a little bit. So, I think, people, I don't know what that tells us. Maybe people agree with you. The game will be a little closer than the line.
Yeah, because I think Sam Leavitt makes a difference for Arizona State, and he's on course to play at this moment.
Yeah.
I just think this is a huge moment in time for both these teams. I agree with you. I think Texas Tech needs to go to Tempe and bury Arizona State. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but I also think that's going to be very difficult to do. And just looking at some of the schematics of this game, Sam Leavitt's going to play. He's been battling an ankle injury. My feeling is I like 31-24. 31-24, could be 31-27. I think Tech wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty convicted on that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little more for Tech. I think it's probably 35-21, 35-24, something like that. Because I just think that there's going to be some garbage time in this game at the end. So I think there's a good chance you'll get that extra touchdown and kind of push it up a little bit. When these two teams are both playing their ones and the game is still in doubt, I would say that, you're probably 27-17 at the end of the third, and then you'll go out and score another touchdown, maybe field goal, something like that. But yeah, I just think that with everything that went on with Kansas and all the drama we've had this week with Texas Tech, I don't know how, if you're Joey McGuire, you don't use that to push your team and say, hey, dude, like, we need to shut these people up about Kansas and throwing tortillas, and we need to get back to talking about like national championships and winning football games and winning the Big 12. That's, to me, that's just a very easy, straightforward thing if you're this coaching staff.
Yep, I would agree that this is just a must-win. Wasikowski, NFL Films producer, should be suspended for what?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the Belichick thing? NFL Films did not have a hand in producing that show. So I don't know what. I mean, they didn't. I think NFL Films may own the rights to it, but NFL Films did not produce it. They did not. I think I told you that when it got canceled. I thought, if I didn't, I meant to tell you, like, I think they own the rights to it. I could be wrong about that, but they had that's an independent production company that facilitated, shot, and executed all of that. This had no, I don't know what you're talking about with NFL Films. NFL Films going to hush on some of that. One producer dies in a car. I don't know what you're talking about. Did I miss a story on this, or what are we talking about? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about either.
What did I miss?
Something's going on, I'm sure.
Yeah, Eric, fill me in. Tell me what I missed. I have no idea what Mike you're talking about. I've not recently anyway. All right, let's get to real quick on Kirk Cignetti, because I took a lot of heat on this yesterday. Specifically, I was told that I don't know ball and I just don't like Indiana. And I'm going to say that's not actually the case, because Kirk Cignetti got paid. And what I said about Kirk Cignetti is it's a terrible decision to pay him, and not only pay him, but massively overpay him. You made him the third highest paid coach in college football, and he's done nothing. An Indiana fan lost their mind on the show. Well, now I'm not the only one saying that.
I think everyone on this panel agrees that he's done a phenomenal job. But Stephen A., this is how programs get in trouble. They just gave him an extension and a contract raise at the end of last season. We are barely at the midpoint. Let it play out before you completely send the Brinks truck up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said the exact same thing that I said right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what we talked about on the show. Like, he hasn't proven anything, and I meant to get it, I forgot. But there's, like, you can go on Twitter or online, obviously, and there's a clear track record. Hey, I was making 130, I got bumped, and then I got bumped again. And what's not included is a national championship or multiple CFP appearances, dude. Like, I understand the concept, because the defense is, oh, well, he was going to get poached and he was going to leave.
Right.
And Penn State was going to grab him up. So let me get this right. This guy was so committed to leaving that he shot a video saying that he wanted to retire a Hoosier.
And wait a minute. This is the Jim Harbaugh thing that I always talk about. You just gave a guy a massive extension who doesn't want to work for you anymore, who believes that another school is a better fit for him than your school. And so did you just buy his loyalty? Because you know that if he truly wanted to leave for Penn State, you just bought yourself a lie for $90 million. When has that ever worked out in the history of college football?
No idea.
No, the answer's never. It's never worked out. There's been a major upset every week. Who gets the boot this week? I'm really worried about Texas Tech, man. And I hope I'm wrong. And I know that Arizona State's dealing with a bunch of dinged up guys, and it's going to be somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be somebody. Not going to hitch my wagon to anything Feinbaum says, even when he's right. Well, he's occasionally right. And when he agrees with me, he's always right. But I think Indiana made a huge mistake. And when we look at Indiana doesn't have any big games left if we're being honest. You look at Indiana and they're playing, who are they playing this week? Michigan State in Bloomington
on the cock.
I think that was last time I looked, that was a 25.5 point line.
Now 27.5.
They don't come on. And when you look at what Indiana's got left ahead of them, Indiana does not have a game of note. They should easily run the table with the schedule they have left. They should not be in a football game the rest of the year. Now, upsets this week. I don't know that, especially in the Big Ten. I mean, is Rutgers gonna beat Oregon in Piscataway? Yeah, somehow I don't think that's happening. Is Iowa beating the Knuckle Deep Boys in Iowa City? Is that an upset if they do? Not really.
You know the one I'm going to say.
What's the one you're going to say?
Washington and Michigan. Washington.
You love this game. Jake loves.
I'm telling you,
this
is a sleeper game in the Big Ten this week, dude. I'm telling you, everyone's sitting here saying, Michigan's going to beat the hell out of Washington. Washington's terrible. And dude, you're only 5.5 at home, bro. Like, you're not, this is not some big line where people think that you're just going to blow out Washington. And my biggest concern is, are you capable of scoring with Washington? Right? Like, Washington, just so we're all on the same page, like, again, competition, right? Colorado State, they put up 38, put up 70 on UC Davis, 59 on Washington State. Then you had the dud against Ohio State, 24 against Maryland, 38 against Rutgers. Like this, them putting up 30 on you would not be shocking, bro. That wouldn't be shocking based on what Michigan has given up this year. So, and by the way, Washington's 5-1. So you've given up, just so we're all on the same page, you gave up 31 to SC, and I'm supposed to sit here and believe that this is just a gimme for Michigan?
I think when you look at Washington and you look at the fact that Damon Williams is a record-breaking quarterback, I love Washington. I think Michigan's a poorly coached football team. I'll continue to say that if I had to bet who the shocking portal entry guy was, you know who I'm going to say. It's going to be Bryce Underwood after this season. And in my opinion, I think
that was looking like red assery at the beginning of the year, but now people are starting to agree with you.
You're not letting him run. You got to let him be a pure dual threat, right? You have to let that happen. And I think it is going to be very interesting to see how Michigan plays. That game's at the house. There are zero excuses for you cheaters in Ann Arbor to lose that game.
Yeah.
There is very little excuse for that.
I would agree.
Yeah, the power of Penix part 2. You guys, and Damon Williams, I understand it. You guys think I shine this guy?
Throat stretch.
400 and 100 is not throat stretching. That is amazing. Do you know how hard it is to do 400 passing and 100 rushing in a game? That's why he's only the 16th player ever to do it. Michigan loses this game. You can't let Moore coach another week. I think that might be the truth. Because there are some pretty loud voices.
It's not. It wouldn't be as bad, in my opinion, as Penn State losing to Northwestern. But,
Wow, that was just, yeah, I would agree with that. Cheta, BYU.
You've been waiting all week.
The god darn holy war. Jake, how important is this game to you? Like, it just as a, I think this is one of the most important games of the year to me. I cannot wait for this game. I will be diddy oiled up on my couch all by myself with the dog and probably a pile of wings with a bunch of ranch, no napkins, and no shirt. I'm all in.
Victory has already been won.
Probably too much. I think this is going to be an incredible game. I'm not even sure. No matter how this goes, I'm not even sure how this won't be an amazing game. And I understand that all of the folks in the BYU community believe that they're going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. And I say, if that's where you're living your life, knock yourself out, bruh. I'm here for it. I don't think that's based in reality, because if we really get into the schematics and the numbers on this game, I think it's going to be an incredibly close game. And I think if there is a defensive touchdown scored in this game, that team will win. And the problem with that, if you're a BYU fan, is Utah just doesn't put the ball in danger like that. Devin Dampier has not shown you that he is going to put the ball in danger. So my question is, how does BYU, Jake, if BYU wins this game, how do they win this game?
Devin Dampier's turning it over, and the BYU defense caused fumbles. Same formula Tech had, right? To beat Utah, you need to make it so that Dampier is not in the pocket. He is rolling right, not left, rolling right, and you contain him to the sideline. If you allow him to roll right and you give him running lanes, that's when you're going to get in trouble. Because if he's got room to run and he can pass, you can't guard both at the same time. There's no defense for both of those. So Tech did a really good job of forcing him, kind of boxing him in to the sideline. They were very disciplined in that way, which is what forced him to throw interceptions, because he chose to force those throws instead of throwing it away. Now, I would, red ass fan is going to say, well, Dampier threw picks in the Tech game. Why wouldn't he throw picks here? Because I think he learned the lesson. That's what I think. I think he learned the lesson that, hey, we're playing a good team. I need to just throw this away and live to fight another day and let my defense hold them down. And that's what I'm hoping to see developmentally from Dampier. I think that Utah should win this game by a touchdown if there are no turnovers, and I think that they're capable of winning the game by 10 if Bear Bachmeier turns the football over, which I think you can. If I had ducats, bro, him for a turnover in this game looks nice. And I think this is the best defense he's faced. I think it's the best team he's faced. And I like the kid. I think he's very talented, a lot of respect. But this is a different type of environment. It's his first Holy War. He's very fortunate it's at home, but it's his first Holy War. And it should be close, but mistakes will happen in this game that would not normally happen, which is why I like Utah by at least a touchdown in this game.
Here's the crazy stat of the week. Flipping through PFF last night, previewing this game. Utah football ranks 132nd nationally in explosive play rate. I was like, that can't be right. Because they're 16th in available yards gained. You're 132nd nationally. And you're 16th in available yards gained. You're the best offense in the country on third down. You're converting 63.5% of your third downs. What does that tell you? This team is unbelievable in short yardage, and this team dominates underneath. And I think the problem with that for BYU is that's why Utah doesn't turn the ball over. And they're leaning, their offensive line is leaning on your defense, and they're moving you. And I think the question is that an apparition? Oh, and what BYU fan has been telling me all week is, well, Utah hasn't played anybody. And I say, well, neither of you. And they're like, well, what? Utah hasn't played anybody. And so if we are supposed to believe that, you know, you're not going to play anybody and then your stats don't matter, well, then you can't say that like their stats don't matter at all.
And I do, not to cut you off, I want to make sure people understand the available yards gain metric and what that means, because I don't think most people probably know what that means, but it's a great metric. It's one of the best metrics you can use. So it's just available yards is calculated by dividing yards earned on a possession by yards available to you measured from the spot of the ball where the possession starts. So, hey, you started on the 20 and you got it, 40 yards down the field or whatever. That's essentially what you're calculating. So again, it's, hey, they're not good at bombing it, but they are really good at going down the field offensively. They're very good at, hey, like we'll throw it underneath and we'll run for 5 and then we'll run for 3 and then we'll run for another 5. Like they're going to, death by 1,000 cuts style offense is essentially what that stat's telling you about Utah.
And how has Utah looked since the Texas Tech loss?
Pretty good.
He looks amazing. Devin Dampier looks really solid. He looks like he's back to the old version of himself, which he clearly was not against Texas Tech.
Does he survive the game?
Oh, yeah. Devin Dampier? Yeah. Why would he not survive the game?
Because BYU's physical, and I'm sure we'll be looking to take chances.
I think the injury issues at BYU are significant. And I think the Jack Kelly injury, not on the injury report, it looks like he's going to play. They need LJ Martin to be some of the LJ Martin metrics. I mean, when he runs the ball, they win. And it's why I don't understand why. It's why I don't understand why Aaron Roderick does not give the ball to LJ Martin more. And why does he continue to put Bear Bachmeier in a bad place? I'll never understand it. I want to understand it. I don't understand it. And when I look at Utah, I think they're much better. They're a much better football team because they lost to Texas Tech. And again, I know nobody wants to talk about the fact that loss was really bad football out of Utah. I mean, it was really, really bad. You cannot, under any circumstance, have an illegal man downfield ever. Especially not from your right tackle, who's probably the best right tackle in college football. And that's I think that's the moment the game pivoted. Utah has not struggled on a single rep since then. Now, it was West Virginia and Arizona State.
Yeah, but 48, I believe
and
it was.
42.
Yeah. 38 on West. Oh, no.
No, 48.
48, yeah.
And again, I just continue to go back to Devin Dampier because it's not accidental anymore. Devin Dampier's got 1,131 yards on 165 attempts, 11 touchdowns and 3 picks, 2 of which came against Texas Tech. He does not turn the ball over. And when you look at the fact he's only been sacked 3 times, and that was Cal Poly, YO, and Texas Tech, 1 in each game. And you look at the fact that he on the season is rated 147.5. And he's also got 5 rushing touchdowns, and he's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. and he's a really polished runner of the football, and he's way better at throwing than you give him credit for. I think this is something, and this is just my opinion, this is something that BYU's not seen this year. Efficient, tactical, clean offense with really physical defense. I don't care if it's in Provo, it's Utah and BYU. It's a neutral site, essentially. I think this game will come down to Bear Bachmeier's ability to continue to run the football because he has not been good. Against Arizona, he never once got a diagnosis of the defense correct throwing the football. He was terrible. A huge regression. That was the best team they had faced to that point. And now you have to take that to a completely different level. And I just don't love where Bear Bachmeier is in his development. Young quarterbacks tend to come out hot because you don't play anybody early. And then he kind of continued to tick up. He completely regressed against the best team he saw. That's terrifying to me. Terrifying. I think this is a 31-17 Utah victory.
Gosh,
I think
I
it'll
feel
be
the same way, dude. I wanted to say by 10, but
I think this is a close game through the first half. And the other thing that Utah has gotten really strong at, halftime adjustments on defense. And they straight ran out of gas against Texas Tech.
Well,
don't know
that
how
makes
you
sense though. They were on the field too much. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know how you reconcile the play calling on both sides of the football in that game for Utah. They clearly learned from it. They've put themselves in a better position. I hope that I am wrong. I want this to be a 34-31 game on a last-second field goal. I want to see a shootout. I want to see the ball thrown all over the place.
Will Ferrin, 55.
That's not going to happen. Neither one of these quarterbacks are comfortable throwing the ball all over the place. This is an RPO-type football game. And I think the discipline that Utah has shown all season on defense, I think it's going to rear its ugly head, and it is going to cost BYU the football game. Utah's defense is so disciplined right now. And what I'm really impressed with, against a team that had no choice but to run the football, because West Virginia threw for 85 total yards. And now they ran for 261. But if we look at the time of possession, let me get this right. You ran for 261 yards, West Virginia, and you lost the time of possession battle by 10 minutes. That's how dominant Utah's offense was for 532 yards. Okay, their defense at West Virginia is not nearly okay. Arizona State. Same scenario, same conversation. Let me get this right. You ran for 84 yards. Utah controlled the ball for 15 more minutes. Do you guys understand how dominant that is? Utah has dominated their opponents since they lost to Texas Tech. I think 31-7. The number that and the thing that worries me is Jack Kelly's not going to be 50%. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to play. If Glasgow and Kelly are not at 70% of prime, I don't see any way that this defense can handle the offensive line of BYU or of Utah. And I have a lot of respect for the front at BYU. I feel like the Utes ranked 9th in defensive efficiency, 16th in points per drive, 8th in pass efficiency. They've given up 10 points per game against anyone that hasn't been Texas Tech. I mean, the only competent quarterback Utah faced this year was Baron Morton and Will Hammond. They combined for 311 yards and 35 attempts. It's difficult to throw the ball on Utah because the defensive ends are constantly in your face. And Bear Bachmeier has been, when he has been tested and pressured, he's run the ball. He doesn't throw it. And the other thing I think stands out is Utah is ranked second nationally in sack rate with 1.2 sacks per 10 dropbacks. You can't have Bear Bachmeier throwing the ball and win this game. You cannot allow him, if you're BYU, to stand in the pocket, four-step drop, throw the football. That's not his game. And the success he's really had throwing the ball, and again, I want to tell you, because not that you care, I've watched every one of his snaps. Wednesday and Thursday, I watched every one of his snaps. He's comfortable when he has time. You don't get time against Utah. Baron Morton didn't get time. Will Hammond didn't get time. Baron Morton took a physical beating, and they have put a physical ass kicking on 4 straight quarterbacks. Will Hammond's the only one, and he still got hit a lot. That's what worries me here. Utah's allowing 195 rush yards per game, 5.3 yards a carry. That's how BYU will win this game. You cannot allow Bear Bachmeier to stand back there and throw the ball. You have to force him to RPO, and if you're Utah, make him pitch the football. That he loves, and it's a bad habit, and young quarterbacks do it all the time. RPO, he loves to have the ball away out here. If you watch that ball where especially when he takes it back in, and I know you think this is minutia, one of the things I notice is he scoops the ball up to put it away. So because he likes to RPO with his arm extended, the ball does not come right back here. When Bear Bachmeier brings the ball in, it goes up and then comes in. And you're asking to get turned over against a fundamentally sound Utah defense. And those are the reasons I lean towards Utah winning this game. And the score, if BYU wins this game, the score will be 21-17, 24-21. And I don't see how that bears the fruit of these two.
I agree.
These two teams. So, but that's just me. Let's see. Chewy Gonzalez, Devin Dampier going run train on BYU and their girlfriends. Okay. Utah going to send Bear to the injury tent. I hope not. I really hope not. QBs that do not protect the ball drive me crazy. Running around with the ball, begging to be stripped. And he's really good. Bear Bachmeier, once he gets the ball on that chest plate, he's really good. But, man, there are times, and you'll see it, even as a passer, there are times where what you guys watched in Bear Bachmeier, where's his elbow when he's got the ball in his throwing hand? It's a lot of times when he's moving around, you see loose mechanics with the football. And a lot of times it's just a wandering elbow, especially against Arizona where he was really bad. His mechanics were terrible. That's something to watch. Toot Pants, this is a lot of Utah BYU talk on an SEC showroom. I know. Paul Feinbaum is texting me saying, shut up and talk. Paxton, great advice, Coach. Yeah, you're welcome. Husker, Bear is good, but he's no Jake Retzloff. He's very good. Bear, don't mistake anything that I'm saying. Bear Bachmeier is going to be, I think when he's done, he will be the best quarterback in the history of BYU football, bar none. He's that talented. He's got to stay healthy, and they've got to teach him not to get hit. And that's the other thing that worries me in this game. Bear Bachmeier likes contact. He is not the quarterback that's going to step out of bounds on the boundary. And I think in this game,
he damn well better.
You are going to get, they're coming for your neck, dude. Like, I'm just telling you, it is. Bear's got to learn to slide. He's got to learn to get down. He's got to learn to step out. Like 2 yards is not worth your season. It's not worth. And again, Sam Levitt is this guy. You look at John Mateer. John Mateer's that guy. Right? Why is Carson Beck so effective? That dude is kryptonite. He does not like getting hit at all. What worries you about Arch Manning? How many hits has that guy taken? The quarterbacks having success this year, Why is Tommy Castellanos at Florida State so up and down win-loss wise? He takes a lot of hits, carries the football a lot. Why is CJ Carr becoming an elite passer of the football?
Do you believe?
2 reads, get rid of the football. And his throws, incredibly accurate because he's clean. He doesn't have traffic around his arm or his hand. Bear Bachmeier can't say the same thing. Because the other thing that Bear Bachmeier really struggles with is understanding what his offensive line is trying to do to protect him. There's some decisions he's made. Not on designed runs. On designed runs, generally, he pops the hole right where it should be. But there's some passing plays where I'm like, do you understand what the blocking scheme is here? Because on every drop back design pass play, the offensive line has a job. The running back has a job. The tight end has a job. Specific to the underneath plays, he does not go to the comfort zone. There's a lot of times where and the worst thing you can say about a quarterback, he drifts. Because he's young. He doesn't have and I say that the word you never want to hear about a quarterback and a linebacker, well, he's just kind of drifting. Right? These linebacker groups, you want to watch something? Watch how decisive BYU linebackers are. Watch how decisive Utah linebackers are. They don't drift. They don't, when you see a guy that's just kind of his head's going, you'll always know a linebacker's in no man's land when his head's going like this. And it almost just like then his head starts to turn because now he realizes I overran the play and the ball's over there, but I've drifted so far outside of the guard box, because your middle linebacker really should never leave the span of the 2 offensive guards. You just start to see their heads do this. You'll never see that at BYU. You'll never see that at Utah because they're too well coached. My question is, can BYU run the football effectively enough against this defense to win the game? And I don't think they can. So, mental image of one football team in the act of run train on another is not easy to get through. No, it's not.
We have a donation that has a prediction of this game.
Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let me get the line up here. Monty Show, Thanksgiving Heroes. BYU will continue to prove doubters wrong. Monty will acknowledge the coming of Bear Bachmeier. That's what got Jake Retzloff to Tulane. You should be careful. Oh, you mean that? I understand.
Oh, you meant like he was showing up in the game.
Oh. I'm a bad person, and I freely admit that I am not I probably am going to hell. Utah will never be the same again. This has to be Maury.
Yes, Maury
Alvarez. See, I'm getting there, you guys. Like, even on a Friday where we're Friday light, right? We're always Football Friday. This show won't pick up until like 9 o'clock tonight. You'll see we'll pick up 1,000, 2,000 views. I'm telling you guys, you're making a difference in the lives of people. That's donation for the Thanksgiving Heroes and guys like Maury Alvarez, who's got a family of his own, you guys. Maury is a longtime friend of the program. And he's got kids. He's got a life. He's got a family. And he found $15 to donate to the Advocates. So that kids and families at Thanksgiving can eat. That's what this community is about. And I just thank every one of you so much today. We've got, three or four donations in. And I just thank so much of you. One, that you're not this guy. But I just am so... I probably came out wrong. I'm just so thankful that you guys donate. Thank you so much. It means the world that you make the effort. So if you'd like to donate, right here. I'm so bad at that. Right there. That is the Venmo address for the Advocates. Advocates donations. 100% of your donation goes to Thanksgiving Heroes. Rob Adams was on the show an hour ago. 1 in 5 kids is hungry. Feed them. Advocates donations. Appreciate that. Dude, just be faster than Bruce Mitchell. Okay. Two pants. Most important question of the showroom. Yeah, how about the spread on Oak State Cincy?
Just couldn't survive the show without bringing up that spread, could you?
Without
dude?
Oak State James taking a stray.
Dude, just couldn't handle it. What is it, like 871?
In Stillwater, where Longhorn steers lay dead on
steers
fraternity house front lawns.
Bro, are you serious with this?
23.5 favorite. Cincinnati is 23.5 points
On a 57.5 point number?
Ooh.
Dude.
That means you're expecting 10 to 12 points out of Oak State. That's rough. That is rough. And the numbers in the Big 12 this week, you guys, are, I mean, super tight. 6.5 Texas Tech, 7.5 UCF over West Virginia, and Oak State 23.5.
How about Arizona only 1.5 to Houston?
Because dude, again,
I know you keep telling me about the vaunted Houston.
Willie Fritz. I'm telling you, he coming. And it's, well, that, in the parlance of this show, you guys are sickos. Paxton, Texas, or Tech spread will change with Hammond playing. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Finally, before we get out of here, because I would also remind you, the Miami Hurricanes and Louisville Cardinals have just kicked off in South Beach. Finally. USC at Notre Dame. Fight off. Screw the Trojans. Garrett Riley's a better coach. This is going to be the most entertaining football game of the weekend. It's a 60.5 point number. It's a slap in your Trojan D-bag because Notre Dame's favored by 9.5 at the stadium. Now, I asked Jake to go to this game this year. He told me no. He's got to watch his dog. Is that accurate, Jake, or no?
I don't live in a what if scenario.
No,
Okay.
that's not accurate. It's
That's not accurate. Okay.
Erroneous.
Erroneous on all counts.
Erroneous on both counts.
Truth. I'm telling you guys that this game is going to be ridiculous. Notre Dame's pass defense is not good. This was supposed to be the best secondary in the country, and it's actually not top 20. And I think when you look at the numbers coming out of USC's passing offense, would it surprise you? And I know I've throat stretched on Jade Mayava.
But you don't watch ball.
I don't know ball because I only watch croquet and I play pickleball. I've never played pickleball. USC has the third highest average per attempt at 10.5, which is just 1/10 of a yard more than Notre Dame at 10.4. The fourth most passing yards, a 14-2 touchdown to interception ratio, and only Baylor has more passing yards per game than USC at 325.8. I think that there is no doubt Jade Mayava is the under-the-radar quarterback. I think the stat that I am leaning on to keep me sane tomorrow. You do not want to bet on USC when it has to travel multiple time zones under Lincoln Riley from home in Los Angeles. I am thankful that South Bend is not in the Mountain Time Zone. I am thankful that when USC moved to the Big Ten, they actually decided not to put the school on a moving van and move it to Chicago.
Yeah, just U-Haul it over there, Monty.
Yeah, because this is a game where Lincoln and the Trojans are going to have to travel multiple time zones to the east. His record is 0-787 when they do that. I'm kidding. Since 83, the Irish are 15-6 at the stadium against USC. 6 straight since 2013. The Trojans have lost their last 10 games versus ranked opponents on the road. The Trojans, USC, they are 8 games winning streak over the Irish from 2002 to 2009. The Irish have won 25 of the other 32 games. Pimp's going to slap. And the other thing that I would say is that I think we're going to find out who the better quarterback is, CJ Carr or Jaden Mayava. And I think, Jake, I think it's CJ Carr, who I think is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country right now. I think that when I look at the numbers in this game, I think this is going over, and I think it's going to be a 42-37 Notre Dame win.
Yeah, I can understand why you want to tell that story to yourself, and I can appreciate that effort there. But I'm not taking Notre Dame to win this game. There's no chance that I'm trusting this team to win this game. And here's why. This has all the makings of, well, hey, Notre Dame's defense, and it's Lincoln on the road, and you have these classic storylines that look good for Notre Dame. I agree with that. But I also agree with the fact that people don't know who this cat playing quarterback for USC is yet. People haven't watched this guy. People haven't been paying attention to what they got going on. And I'm not sitting here saying that USC is a national championship threat this year. But what I am sitting here saying is that USC is more than capable of shocking some people and ending a drought against Notre Dame in this game.
Don't be a jerk off.
It terrifies me.
Don't be a jerk off.
Dude, it terrifies me that Marcus Freeman is looking at the Penn State job, and I said he's looking at the Penn State job, Monty. And Marcus Freeman is susceptible to making a mistake. To which I say, USC 31.
You're a cocksucker.
Notre Dame.
Oh my God.
28.
You're so don't even lean to crib. Don't. I'm punching you in the face. If I ever see you again, I'm punching you in the face.
I'm sorry. I don't trust Notre Dame, bro. I don't. Well, they are due. They are due for the NIU performance, bro.
They're not. Actually, they're not.
Oh, you're right. They've already lost twice to both of the best team on their schedule.
Leonard Moore and Devontae Smith are both healthy. When Leonard Moore came back, this secondary got exponentially better. And the biggest issue that you have now is that you got Mark Zachary and Dallas Golden, a lot of experience in the back end of this defense. And Aiden Schuler and Tay Johnson are healthy. And Aiden Schuler actually has figured out that you actually have to catch footballs or knock people out. Do you understand that the Irish have intercepted 8 passes in the last 3 games?
Mm-hmm.
And while they have 11 sacks versus Arkansas, Boise, and NC State, they reduced Taylon Green, Maddox Madsen, and CJ Bailey to 57 of 100 throws, which is awful. 57% for. So let me get this right. You completed 57 throws for 201 yards and 8 interceptions. Now, do I think this Irish secondary is the best secondary in the country? No. Do I believe that they are vastly improved? Yes. Yes, I do. And when I look at the pass defense for USC, I think that the offensive line and the defensive line have carried Notre Dame. And I think when you look at CJ Carr, he is the best Notre Dame quarterback since Jimmy Clausen. I was looking this morning while I was having a wretched afternoon. I was looking this morning at Notre Dame quarterbacks because I heard an idiot in Chicago today say that CJ Carr is already a Notre Dame legend. No. He is the best Notre Dame quarterback since Jimmy Clausen. He is the thing that is really impressive about CJ Carr, unbelievably accurate. Doesn't miss throws. Since the Miami game, he hasn't missed a throw. His dangerous pass percentage is almost zero because that doesn't mean he's not attacking defenses. He had 2 throws against NC State where his receiver was bracketed, which means he had a safety coming downhill on diagonal, and he had a corner or another DB with what they call hip distance. So he was hip for hip. Both those throws were completed, and they were not related as dangerous throws. That's how good he's been. And USC's pass defense, boys, USC's pass defense is not good. Their pass defense, and I think we know this about Lincoln.
We do.
His defenses have been weak. And I think when you look at a point spread like this, I think the advantage on paper is absolutely USC's kicking situation is terrifying. And I think the problem is that when I look at Caden Chittenden, who was supposed to be the savior of kickers at USC, he got hurt. And I think what's interesting is they kicked really well against Michigan. I think the kickers could really be a problem in this game for Notre Dame. That's what scares me. You need to win this game by a touchdown because if it comes down to a field goal, USC will win it.
Yeah.
USC will win it. And that you just cannot have that.
Yeah, what kind of game are we playing, right? We playing a defensive struggle or are we playing a shootout? Because you don't want that with USC, in my opinion.
Well, I would also remind you that you're going to be playing this football game in front of probably 76,000 Notre Dame fans and about 2,000 SC fans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be loud. It's a 7:30 Eastern kickoff. It's a night game in front of Jesus and his dad at the stadium in South Bend. And I think this is going to be very difficult because you can't tell me that last year's Notre Dame team that put up 49 points, they're better offensively significantly in every category this year than they were last year. They're better running the football this year, significantly better than they were last year. They are significantly more efficient passing the football this year than they were last year. There's nothing that says SC can go into Notre Dame and win this game.
Mm-hmm.
There's not, honest to God. Honest engine,
but
Monty.
Surely you're not confident you're winning this game.
I feel pretty good that Notre Dame will have the lead in the fourth quarter. That's what I'm willing to say. Because at 4-2, your season's on the line. Whoever loses this game is out of the college football playoff. Period.
I agree with that.
End of story. And if I go to...
And boy, oh boy, does Lincoln have more on the line than Marcus.
I think the Boise State game is the game that I really go back to and I say, where was this football team made? It was made in the second half against Boise State, who gave up a fight but could not score points. Because that was the game where this defense turned around. They dominated Boise State, a run-heavy football team in the second half. Dominated Boise State. Where was that game played? It was played at the stadium. And you look at Notre Dame in that game. 6 of 15, they got off the field on third down, and they converted 4 of 9. I think that's what it is. And Boise State only ran for 100 yards in that game and 215. And I think their defense is as good as USC's. And Notre Dame ran for 200 yards in that game. Now, the question is who's going to commit more penalties? Because that's one of the things that stupid football teams coached by Marcus Freeman do. you know. I would also point out. I would also point out he's welcome to hit the fucking road and go to Penn State.
And by the way, Miami's already losing. In case
7-0. Shut up, Jake. Play the music.
Yeah. Can you stop throat stretching the Catholics, please?
Always a pleasure. Thank you for being here every week. Football Friday presented by the Advocates. Be safe this weekend. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.